press release that was made last week by Superintendent Dr. Bard regarding the charter school amendment vote in November. I'd like our committee to briefly, if they'd like, to speak to that. If y'all don't want to, then that's fine, and we'll open it up to public comment. Mr. Israel?
I was disappointed by the decision that Mr. Barge took. I wanted to see the amendment passed primarily, well, for everyone to line up behind it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think that we need to offer alternatives for the children of Georgia to get alternatives to the existing infrastructure provided. And number two, I think that a lot of support and goodwill has been generated behind this initiative, and this might poison the well a little bit. So I'm hoping that we all can come together and still advocate and see this passed in November.
Thank you. Dr. Lewis?
Well, actually, I'm sitting on the other side of the court. I think we have an option for charter schools if the area wants to do that, and if the local school board doesn't agree, the state school boards can still help out with the charter. And I think in these times where money and economics come to play a great deal in our state, that we can save some money by not having a commission that duplicates the services. So I think I'm very much behind charter schools. And I think in the future, as we have more money available to do things, this may be something we can revisit. But at the present time, I am presently not disappointed.
That's fair enough. I disagree with Superintendent Barge's comments vigorously. And I was very surprised and shocked, actually, to hear it. But I am going to reserve my comments till this afternoon in the committee of the whole. Chairwoman Hampton has allowed me some time this afternoon, which I'm going to make my statements then. But I wanted the charter community to understand and know where I stand, and I stand in full support of this amendment and in full support of the charter community here in Georgia. And it's a nice thing here that we can agree to disagree on things. And I wanted our committee here to have the opportunity to speak to that. Now, with that said, I'm going to open it up for public comment. Do we have a sign-in sheet, Blue, or do we just, I know it's kind of last minute, so how do we want to handle this? All right, do I have any, who wants to go first? You got 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Podium?
Introduce yourself and
Mic's not working.
Okay.
speak loud.
Good morning. My name is Pierre Shepard. I am a parent of a 7th grade scholar currently enrolled at the Ivy Preparatory Academy. I also stand as the president of the PTA, who fully supports the charter school movement. We have been involved with making choices for our daughter all of her life. We were fortunate to get acquainted with the values of a charter school that met our family values. And there are many parents that we've seen over the last year, and we were definitely disappointed at the superintendent's statements and his comments. We firmly believe that when charter schools that are successful and the model that they have ought to be actually duplicated, especially when we're living in districts that have failing public schools. We firmly believe that if you take away the options for parents to find better schools, and I'm not talking about driving across county lines if not necessary, but we made a choice as parents to drive within our district to a charter school that was made available as a result of the state commission to Ivy Prep. We had initially been accepted in Gwinnett, and it was acceptable for a resident in DeKalb to go to Gwinnett. Because those were the choices that me and my wife believe is going to be the best thing for our daughter's future. I believe, as every parent do, that we must do everything within our power with the money or without the money. Ivy Prep is one of the schools that has shown we can do and outperform schools with less money, but how much better can we do if we had equity? And we're standing today just to say we pray that you will keep the good fight and that these parents need to continue having an option, because we want all of our children of Georgia to succeed, as the mission does state for the Georgia Charter Association. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next. Quickly. And anybody, whoever wants to speak next, please have a seat behind the gentleman at the podium so we'll be ready. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, I'm Danelle Smith, parent of a student, 7th grade student, Heritage Preparatory Academy in Fulton County. It was a school that was considered the highlight school of the year for last year. They did a very good job. They did have a limited budget, however, and it did cause some concerns, but it was not the concern that the students were not taken care of. We believe that charter schools should be kept as an option here in Georgia, because we feel that these schools handle a lot of special cases. In our particular case, a lot of our students come from traditionally at-risk homes, and some of them have incarcerated parents. Some of these students that we have in our schools, they were exposed to drugs at birth. These students are pretty hard to deal with in a public setting, we found, and they end up being severe discipline problems. Where in our school, they've been able to get special attention, get special exposure to things like expeditionary learning. They were exposed to things where they got to do hands-on science, hands-on math, hands-on finance, aerospace, aviation projects, performing arts, music, and drama. They got things that made learning exciting. It wasn't boring, it wasn't dull, and it's an alternative to private schools, because a lot of people feel like something happened to our public school system. I'm not sure what all happened to the public school system, except that something's broken. And until we get it fixed, I think this is a great alternative for some parents who cannot drive across town to take their children to a private institution. So we really appreciate you all working hard on this and supporting the charter school systems here in Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next.
Hello, my name is Jacob Cole. I'm a 6th grade social studies teacher at Ivy Preparatory Academy in Norcross. I'm in my 3rd year teaching, and first I just want to say I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak here, and also the dissemination grant from Ivy Prep. I was the author of that grant, so I would love to answer any questions that you may have on that if necessary. The reason why I wrote that dissemination grant is because I get to see the amazing work that happens at Ivy Prep every day, and having gone through the public school system, I know I feel like how much better things are there, and the innovation that's able to take place in charter schools. And I've been concerned about the tone around the conversation about the amendment. There's a lot of misinformation and vitriol, and I personally feel like Ivy Prep and charter schools are or should not be anyone's enemy, because our only enemy is low expectations and the achievement gap. And we're willing to do whatever it takes to close that gap, and there's not a lot of places that will say our motto is whatever it takes. And that's what we operate on every day. And I teach my 6th grade girls constantly about democracy and how it involves involvement and participation from citizens. And I see charter schools as the most direct form of educational democracy we have, because it's parents voting with their feet directly, not through a board that may not reflect their interests. They get to choose on their own. And that has lasting effects. In 2012, just in my single classroom, between all the girls I saw, they outperformed the school district by 11%. And that's not just percentage points, that's actually 14 scholars, 14 individuals who met or exceeded standards on the CRCT that might not have otherwise. And I think 14 scholars, 14 lives, 14 futures is well worth an amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to stand before you and speak. My name is Richardine Golden Anderson, and I'm the founder and the board member for Fulton Leadership Academy, the first all-male state chartered school. And we have done, with the little bit that we've had, the monies, it has not been about the money. It's been about truly dealing with a very serious issues with boys across this nation. And in my community in South Fulton County, boys are graduating 1 to 5. This charter school has absolutely been a really good opportunity for many of the boys that have had a difficult time in the public setting. You cannot, as an educator, and I was with Fulton County for over 20-some odd years, and I realized as an educator that you cannot put a planted seed in the same soils, all of them in the same soil, and they come out the same way. That's very simple, but it means a lot. All children cannot go into the same soil and produce the same way. So we have a serious issue. My issue and my concern right now is with our boys. We're doing a very good job. We want to invite you to come out. And I would like to say to just the State Board of Education is that when you really think about the reason why charters are important, it's because of the diversity of the educational settings. And it should be about children. I've been reading and I've heard about monies. When we talk about this referendum, I have yet to hear that what is good for children. And that breaks my heart. Because we're like on a thin string, but we make the sacrifices to make sure that we're creating citizens, not only academically, but also creating characters, young men with characters for a better world. Thank you.
Very much. Next, please.
Good morning. My name is Eric Chisholm. I'm the Chief Academic Officer of the Ivy Preparatory Academy Network, and I'm very excited about what I see taking place at Ivy Prep this school year. We are committed to academic excellence. We're committed to closing the achievement gap, and to that end, we are putting systems in place that promote rigor, teacher leadership, quality standards-based instruction, and we've even implemented individualized learning plans this school year for our students. We have the ingredients for success to take our students to even higher levels, and we just need the state citizens to vote for the amendment or vote in our favor so that choice would be available for parents who want a school like Ivy Prep. We have a Young Men's Leadership Academy, we do K through 7. We have a Ivy Prep School for Girls, K through 7, and we have a high school campus. It's actually a conflation of middle school and high school, grades 6 through 10. And we're doing some amazing things. I encourage you to visit our one of our campuses or all of our campuses. We are all about academic excellence, rigor, providing quality instructional staff, and we're trying to make a difference in the Atlanta community, and we just need the resources and the commitment of the community. Thank you.
Mark Peavy, I'm here as the former Executive Director of the Charter School Commission, and I appreciate the chance to say just a couple things. I did not appreciate the approach in terms of Dr. Barge's statements in the light that it left the work of the commission that we did. I think we worked extremely hard with Lou in his office and this committee to approve high-quality charter schools, and I believe the statement and the approach taken by Dr. Barge puts that in a very disparaging light. That being said, I'm more concerned about the light that it places the work of this committee and, frankly, the state board, because the work that the commission did, this committee and the state board as a whole had 2 or 3 opportunities to go in a different direction. Dr. Barge certainly implies that the schools approved by the commission are as a whole not high quality. I think if you look at the process that we had in place, and I think it was a very solid process, when the commission made the initial decisions, this committee had an opportunity and the state board had an opportunity to overturn those decisions. That never happened in the 2 years that we were at the commission. To follow on from that, once the commission was shut down, this committee, this state board, Lou's office, and Dr. Barge himself had an opportunity to do something different in terms of approving those schools. The committee and the state board also took an opportunity to look hard at those, and you approved those. So I think to come back now and say that those decisions were not the right ones, or those schools were not high quality, puts the work, frankly, of this committee and the state board as a whole in terms of charter schools in a very discouraging light. Just wanted to bring that point out. I think, secondly, I think the idea that we have a current option in place is a challenge to me in terms of the funding level that's in place. I think we can say that we have an option under the current state charter special school law, but if the funding available under that option is not anywhere close to sufficient to run a school, I don't know that we can really say we're supporting charter schools in Georgia at a state level. So I think that's a challenge, and I think that's one of the reasons that House Bill 797 was constructed the way that it did, to give a funding level for charter schools that at least approaches something that is close to equitable. Lastly, the concern that I'd like to share is if and when this amendment is approved and there's a new commission established, I think the approach taken in this press release and through the words spoken by Dr. Barge puts in an extremely difficult light the ability to have a candid relationship between the charter school office and the state board and any new commission that might get stood up. I think it puts a new commission and whatever commissioners happen to be appointed to that in a very difficult decision to believe that the state board and certainly the charter school office through Dr. Barge's direction would give a favorable view of any of the work that they did. I think that's a difficult challenge. As a person who's very concerned about the charter school community here, I want to put those things out on the table. I know the work that we did at the commission in our former life was very much focused on a solid relationship and working with both the charter committee, the charter office, and the state board as a whole. And I certainly would like to see that be the same in any iteration that a future commission might have. So thank you for the chance to address those issues.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is DeAndre Pickett. I have served working with charter schools for the past 6 years as a teacher and now working part of the administrative team for Heritage Preparatory Academy. One of the principles that we teach our kids is under Dr. Benjamin E. Mage, which states that every man and woman is born into this world to do something distinctive and unique. And if he or she does not do it, it will never be done. Heritage Preparatory Charter School was founded upon the principles that our job is to make sure that we provide another avenue for those kids who've been left out and put aside by their home schools. Just like we do alternative schools for those in high school who cannot function properly in their schools. We need schools like charter schools to make sure that we're doing all that we can to give a better approach to education. Many of our kids are dealing with issues that many kids their age should not be dealing with. Many kids, their main objective is dealing with just survival and how they're going to live day by day. At Heritage Preparatory Academy, what we're doing is we're applying life applications to our education. Just like other charter schools, we are not getting the best or the brightest, but we're getting kids who want a chance. So the comments that were made, yet though inappropriate, we still believe that with your help and with your fight, that our kids have a second chance so that they could do what Dr. May said, be the best and provide the best. Without you, there is no them. We thank you for what you're doing, and we hope that you will continue to fight the good fight on our kids' behalf. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next. Folks, we've got to 11:30 when we're going to adjourn for operations, so now is your chance.
Can we go again?
All right, we're going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you all for coming.